Hey everyone, before we get started, I just wanted to take a second and say stay tuned through the end of the video because we have an extra special giveaway announcement that has slithered its way to the channel. Very excited. Okay, back to our original programming. When you run an evil terrorist organization bent on world domination, it's highly likely that some of your coworkers will not only disagree with your methods, but attempt to usurp your position and power, even going as far as genetically engineering a perfect soldier from the DNA of some of history's greatest leaders. And here we have exactly what Dr. Mindbender decided he would do. It came to him in a dream. After experiencing an extremely vivid nightmare where the current leader of Cobra, appropriately Cobra Commander, appeared in a giant form and attempted to crush Mindbender with his foot, Mindbender escaped, and realizing that if there was no other living leader available to replace Cobra Commander, he would make the leader he wanted. Cobra forces are quickly spread across the globe in search of tombs to collect DNA samples from conquerors such as Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, Ivan the Terrible, Napoleon, and Sun Tzu. With these samples, Mindbender would create a new leader, a perfect leader, a Cobra Emperor. Cobra Commander and G.I. Joe learn of this plot. With the former is made aware, he accuses all involved of high treason, only soon discovers that there is hardly anyone left loyal to him to carry out the charge. Cobra Commander acquiesces and explains that he too looks forward to a new leader that he can follow them to victory. G.I. Joe attempts to stop Cobra from collecting the samples, but is all but foiled at each location. One sample gets destroyed, but it is not enough to stop Cobra. Soon after, Sergeant Slaughter is intentionally captured as Mindbender intends to use Slaughter's DNA in place of the missing Sun Tzu sample. After one failed attempt that creates a monster that must be stopped by none other than Slaughter, Mindbender collects more DNA and begins another attempt. A successful attempt. After a dramatic, electrifying scene that reminds viewers of a great story of Frankenstein's monster coming to life, Mindbender has created his leader, his emperor, his Serpentor. Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, aka JK of JK Collects, and remember, I'll be posting new videos at least twice a week, if not more. If that sounds of interest to you, please click that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. In this episode, we are taking a closer look at the Hasbro 6-inch scale G.I. Joe Classified series, Serpentor. Hey everyone, and welcome back. If you can't hear it, there is absolute excitement in my voice because I am just thrilled, over the moon, to have this already available. This is it. Serpentor inside here. Have not done anything to open this box, so let's carefully do this one together because, wow, I hope you are as excited as I am. I hope if you want one, you've got one on the way. If not, please definitely stay tuned to the end of the video because I have a wonderful bit of news to share with you. But let's get this out. Okay, yeah. So definitely when you're cutting open the box, be very careful. There is no protection in there to keep any kind of blade or anything like that from scratching this amazing box. Look at this thing. Okay, the SIOC, the shipped in own container or whatever you want to call it, is out of the way. It is empty. And look at this presentation. Okay. Let's take a look at the, okay, wow, around the back. There is, now we've seen this, right? We saw this. If you saw any of the Hasbro live presentations, you saw the artwork. They teased it, right? So Serpentor just cauterizing a wound with his dagger superheated from the fire. I mean, how much more intense does that get? Here he is charging on his chariot, which we have here in the box with all these, it looks like we got some fire bats flying with it. Attacking my guy, Cobra Commander. I don't know. I'm a little uncomfortable about that. I'm a big Cobra Commander fan. Sitting in Lincoln's lap. I mean, come on. Look, it's just amazing. And this just shows you everybody definitely fell rank and file behind him, and he was after Cobra Commander. You know, they hate him because they ain't him, I guess. But there we go. Here, I mean, just every ability that's given to him, right? So we've got strength, we've got weapon stuff, we've got, looks like some tactical maybe. I need to look these up, number 57, but obviously extremely high ranking on all of them. No big surprise. Serpentor and Air Chariot. There it is on the other side as well. And up on the top Here we have how it's broken down. Very cool. It looks like it's like a vault that he's trapped in, right? Or locked up in. And it's got this little slip piece that is taped down. So it's another thing to keep your eyes open for. So there's that. We've got a piece right here. Let me see if I can lift a little bit to cut it very gently. So, you know me, I mean, I might be taking it out of the package, but I still like to try and keep the package as whole as possible and undamaged. So we'll slice that right there. There we go. And let's see if that does it. Those two pieces of tape, one on the top and one on the bottom. And yes, it does. The slip comes off. I'm going to move that out of the way. And oh man. Okay, Cobra DNA. How exciting is this, right? So the Cobra logo turned into a DNA spiral. The creativity of even just the package design is phenomenal. So still got the thing on the back, but now we have like this, again, it looks more like a vault. We've got some Cobra DNA here on the side. We've still got the rankings over there. So, oh, so cool. Okay, let's open this. Look at that presentation, everyone. I mean, if this doesn't just take you immediately back, if you had the original Serpentor, oh my goodness, this right here plugs into the back. He's got one on. There's the head for the Chariot. Oh, and then we've got the weapons. Okay, enough of that. The whole point of this is to bust this thing open together. So let's do it. Let's figure out how to get into it. I can see here on these flaps, we've got a piece of tape at the top. And I know I usually go from the bottom, but I'm going to go from the top just because I like this, the way that this thing is displaying itself. So let's see if that will do the trick. Yes. Come on, let go. I always love when the box flap does that thing and it just tries to make it get crumpled as you're opening it. Hopefully nobody does feel that pain as well. I would love to be the only person that has to experience that, because it is nerve-wracking when you're trying to protect a package, right? You know, you want to keep it as sound and whole as possible, and then when you immediately have to crease a box flap, it just kind of takes away. Okay. How do I get to Serpentor? Do I do it from the side? It looks like it with tape on the top and the bottom. So with the flaps, we pull it out the top. With the main coming out top and bottom for a side flap. All right, I need you to cut. Work with me here. All right, see, this is where it all breaks down. Trying to be too delicate. There we go. All right, let's get that flap out. Hey, there's our familiar old cardboard that's not a special design. Now it's starting to feel like a G.I. Joe unboxing. Okay, one thing, looks like we've got a little bit of the flap kind of sticking taped down right there. So I'm going to do a quick drag down that just to make sure that's free. And let's see if it will come out now. Hopefully it's not attached on the other side as well. I've got a bad feeling that it might be. So this, thank you for your patience as we dig into this thing. Hopefully your excitement is still running just like mine is. It doesn't look like it's attached, so maybe we can just pull and get him out of there, right? Be brave. I'm gonna take it up camera real quick and just pull. All right. Let's do this. Let's open this flap as well so we can get an idea of what's going on. Because sometimes if I have to pull and I have to keep pulling harder and harder, something's missing, right? I haven't done something that needs to be done. Maybe it wants to come out this direction instead. Maybe he doesn't want to come out at all, right? But we got to get him out. Oh, I see. We've got tape here. Okay, so this is why we do this. Hopefully this can save you a little bit of headache. There's one last piece of tape right there, and I think that might be it. Yeah, the only thing foiling me, one round piece of tape. Or is there more? What is getting in the way? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, one more piece of tape. Look at that, I'm blind. Tucked right there. So you see, my folly gets to make your opening so much smoother. So if anybody's watching, when you open yours, you won't have to look as silly as I just did. Okay, let's just start pulling stuff out, right? So look at this. We've got some good old elastic pieces. I guess they partnered with McFarlane on that. Picked up some of those little rubbery elastic pieces, but you know what? They work to hold things in place. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, our pamphlet. Okay, and then look, we've got another one, a little 4+ with, oh yes, how exciting is it to have a vehicle with a blue and white instruction booklet, right? We almost have the good old-fashioned blueprints. It's about as close, I guess, as we can get. Okay. We'll do this McFarlane style, and we'll do it from the back. How about that? I see a bag of something over here peeking out of the box as we're getting all this shrapnel out of the way. Okay, it's good to see those things pulling loose. Get that one. That one's pulling loose. That is also pulling loose. Got one up here. That. Oh, snake down. All right, so do we have a Chariot free? We do have the snake piece free. We have a Chariot free. And let's get our little bag of goodies out of here. So don't forget that that is tucked back there. You'll be able to see it through the hole. And as you saw, you can just reach through behind where Serpentor is in here. Yes, I can pull on his face and he will come out. And that is it. That clears our cardboard. So we'll move that out of the way. We've got this piece of snake plastic. I'm going to get that out of the way. And pardon me while I clear just some shrapnel. And we will do a quick count of everything that came in this thing. Thanks for hanging out through that very interesting opening process. Okay, so we're going to put old Serpentor to the side here and just bring everything together. So here is our bag of little goodies that we'll break into. Here are the 2 fins for his little flyer, right? And here is this with the snake head already on it. Here's the handlebar, right? Here is just a great looking snake. And we've got these accessories here. So this little wrist claw, if he wants to pretend to be, you know, Vega from Street Fighter, maybe. That's right, I said it. And then the back piece, that off, and then we have another little snake head, which obviously is not the one for the Chariot. So we're gonna figure out where that goes. A staff, a much more detailed sword than what we got back in the 80s with the original. Not that there was anything wrong with it. And then, would you look at this? Duke, better watch out, right? Yeah, this is a Duke killer, or Duke coma, or is that what we call it? Coma, makes him go into a coma. All right, let's open up this little pouch, see what we've got in here. And it looks like we've got accoutrement for the Chariot. And another, yeah, so we've got, all right, ammo. We've got another claw, a shorter claw, and then we've got the guns for the air Chariot. So much stuff packaged with this thing. We've already spent all this time and we haven't even taken a closer look at anything. All right, so let's take a closer look at these smaller pieces so we can get through them. We'll set the Chariot pieces to the side. We know our direct Chariot. Okay, first and foremost, let's take a look at this snake. I already teased you with it, so let's look at the detail of this thing, right? So very cool. Let's see, we'll just shift to manual on that. Look at that guy. Right, just the detail in the scales, and these are all they're tactile, they are rigid. You can feel the scales; they're not just painted on; they are truly sculpted into this slightly flexible rubberized plastic. You got the bottom of the snake also detailed and painted there. It almost seems like there could be some articulation there, but there is a point where the flat part joins to where the cobra curls up. You can see there's a little bit of a paint mismatch right there. The lines don't quite meet up, but that's the bottom of the snake. The top, not bad, right? You can see where the seam is, a little bit of glue kind of squished out right there, but not a huge deal. Not going to cry about it. The paint on here, however, I'm gonna go ahead and say very sloppy, right? So here on this side, there's a lot of the darker brown showing through, and you can see the lighter brown, the base of the snake, really kind of splattered up there. So little bit of a mismatch over there. I don't know if something went wrong when it was being sprayed or applied or what have you, but there's that. Inside the mouth, a very deep red, which is just kind of creepy, right? So it is a crimson red appropriately. Very curious if this is going to match any of the crimson red colors, like when we get the crimson guards or the bats or anything like that. Even the sculpting on the head, very well done, right? Very snake-like. What a surprise, yeah? And then the eyes have the little black dots. Just to, have that nice soulless look and a little bit of a gray on the fangs to help them pop out. So very cool. Big fan of that. And our Duke Killer, or I'm sorry, our Duke Comatoser, also has, you can feel the scales in there. There is no paint app on this thing. It is just a piece of green molded plastic, but that's okay. We don't really want to have a lot of detail on something that almost took the great leader Duke from us. But I'm going to say it is pretty cool to have it. Okay, so there we go. And then let's take a look at these wrist claws, right? So this first one, the longer one that we pulled out that was in one of the the plastic clear displays on the side, it seems like shipping or packaging kind of caused it to curl in on itself. Definitely going to need a little bit of heat to straighten that out. But as is common with claws, right? Whether it's a Serpentor or a Wolverine, just these these blades of claws on here. It just happens. Now, they are very cool, right? So they definitely have that that knife or blade look. I appreciate the detail of having it where it kind of tapers out and then back in, just has that shape. And it is painted a nice silver, a nice shiny silver to give it a good metallic look. A little bit of issue right there where some of the silver got on the gray cast plastic of the wrist piece, but I'm not gonna fault it for it, honestly, because it's on the inside and that's a very difficult point to reach. I don't know many even hand paintbrushes that would be able to nail that. Now, there are some gears and whatnot on here, so it wouldn't have hurt to have a little bit of extra wash, especially with all the detail that we want to see with Serpentor. But then here we've got a smaller claw. One would almost think maybe retracted because of the similarities of these. However, this one reaches farther back, see? So it's not like it's a retracted thing. It's just a smaller version. Maybe it's supposed to be, but it just, the way that they're laid out is a little bit different. Silver coming down a little bit right there. Definitely some seepage, maybe before it dried, or just a miss with the alignment. And the same gears and everything, same basic layout of it that would have been cool to see. Just a little bit of dry brushing or a wash to bring out some details. And speaking of blades, here it is. Look at that, right? How cool is that? So gold handle, a nice silver blade to it with a lot of different detail sculpted into it. I am loving this handle, right? With the snake head in it, and even around it looks like it's the sides of the cobra. I'm not sure what the name of that is, but just those sides of the cobra that fan out when it's mad, when it has that face. So very cool. I do like it. I'm very curious if this was intentional, where it's not the same on both sides. See how it cuts kind of inward there and angles outward there. I wonder if that was intentional or not, because otherwise the blade, unless I'm missing something, is symmetrical. A little bit of something red right there. I don't know if that'll come off or not. There's just a tiny bit of maybe red paint, but not sure if that was intended to be symmetrical or not, because it certainly looks like that was a point of it being off of a cast piece, and maybe some extra went with it. So, maybe that's a molding error right there, because it certainly looks like there is plastic that was either snapped off or just not properly aligned. Who knows? And then there's probably where the red came from, but it is on the other side. So some of the red for this jewel, boop, got around there. No big deal. Still a very cool weapon. And then we have the staff with yet another cobra head. And look at that. So cool. Like, I don't even want to fault these or say anything about there being a dry brush or anything like that to make anything pop, because it just works, right? It's supposed to be this gold color. It's supposed to be made out of that. It's Serpentor. I mean, you just get a Cobra Trooper to polish all of your weapons and stuff every minute of the day. That's what the Crimson Guards are for, right? So there we go. Pretty long staff. And then we've got the jewels at the bottom to also match the sword. So never let it be said that Serpentor does not know how to accessorize. So there we go. And this looks like it's a different shade, but it is not. See the camera, I don't know if it's going to show in the video, but what I see on the screen, this looks like it's a brighter, it's just picking up the light a little bit differently, but very cool. And then we have, boom, this good old back piece. Remember this? Yeah, but it used to just have the little peg coming out of it because it's stuck in the backpack hole on the back of the original Serpentor. And then we have this, right? So a snake head. I believe this must, if I'm not mistaken, I think it, does it go on his wrist? Am I wrong there? We'll find out soon. But this thing is super cool, right? So it's cast in this goldish plastic that we've seen across the weapons and across various other things. But it also has a little bit of gold paint to highlight the we'll say lips of the snake, and even the spot where the fangs are coming out. The gold comes down and it cuts off perfectly for the silver of the actual fangs. So this is really well painted, and we've got the just black soulless eyes in there, and then the scaling of the, just look at the reflectiveness and the shine off of this head. It is so fantastic. I'm absolutely in love. I was so quick to point out that this thing existed before. I didn't really pay attention to the detail or anything like that. This is sculpted from that same goldish shiny plastic, and you know, harkens immediately back to the original one. The scaling on there, very well sculpted. I do not see any issues in that sculpt, and it is just fantastic. So how exciting is that? Okay, there's so much to go through. Let's look at Chariot pieces. Okay, so these, the fins for the back, remember that these did attach in the original one, right? Or detach. So they're identical, right? Cast from black plastic. Kind of difficult to see. Let's put the old hand behind it. So there we go, cast from black plastic. No moving parts, no articulation to them, but you know, very well sculpted for what they are. You can see the idea of a flap, a fin for directions. Hey, you know what? Dare I say it would have been neat to see that. This one kind of curves in. So they both kind of curve in, whether it's intentional or not. Just keep that in mind when you put it on. You know, decide, do you want them to curve in? Do you want them to curve out? Or do you want to apply some heat and straighten them up so that they just sit straight? It's entirely up to you. I am going to see how they look, just maybe curving out. Yeah, curving out just a little bit. We'll see how that works. See how that looks. Okay, enough about those. Here's our handlebars, because you got to have handlebars to steer a giant golden air chariot. And here we go. Right, so again, very similar to what we're used to, but this is obviously a little bit formidable version. The other one was just cast from plastic. This has 3 screws holding plastic sandwiched together. Very well sculpted, cool. Looks like we've got some gears in here, just all kinds of stuff, and it's on a ball joint, so that gives a lot more movability and flexibility for posing. We've got some things right up here. Would have been neat to maybe see some color or some detail like they did with this, right? So you can see the angle that they're flying. I know there's a term for it. No, not altimeter. That's not it. There's a term for it. If you know it, please throw it in the comments. I would love to learn that. Feel like I should know it from all the Ace Combat games I played on PlayStation. And then we've got the weapons, the guns for each side. And just from looking at them, with both of them upright, they are the same. So we're going to break down one of them since they are identical and they're just for each side. Okay, so black cast plastic, very well done. This has that general unevenness in the finish, you know, so maybe from like a release agent or whatever that you see. But for some reason with this one, it just adds almost a realism to it, right? Maybe because it's such a big one and has so many different surfaces and textures to it, it just kind of helps add a little bit of depth to it. You see that shine? It just, I don't know, it just makes it seem more like it is metal. So I'm very happy about that. Dare I say that, you know, a tiny bit of dry brush could have brought some detail out, or maybe some wear? Hey, who knows? But again, he could just have Crimson Guards coming in, or hey, maybe Alley Vipers when they're not busy, coming in and just polishing everything, cleaning everything up for them. So here is the barrel that plugs into the end of it. We'll go ahead and do that. And it does plug in with a good snap so that you know it's in there. Very well sculpted. It looks good. Goes along with the rest of the finish, so nothing really stands out. It doesn't look like it doesn't belong together. The opening is there for blast effects. I did not see any that came with Serpentor, but I'm not going to fault it for that because so much other stuff comes with it. Okay, so, and then we've got a hole in the back and a hole in the side. One would think that this is going to connect all the way around. So will it? Let's see. Am I doing it right? That's the question. All right. So I'm assuming like that. Yeah. Gosh, if only they'd included instructions for assembly, right? Does it tell me? Let's take a look at these blueprints. Will it say? Yeah, that's, I'm going to say that's probably it. Or, you know, maybe it might curl around the other way and plug in a little bit better. But either way, that did work. I guess it just all depends on this little black tab and if there's an opening for it to stick into. So it kind of looks like there is more of an opening there. Okay, I will figure that out later. But yes, it does curl around and plug into the side and around the back. So just so that you know. All right, on to more Chariot pieces because we are almost done and ready to look at the whole shebang put together. So here, look at this thing. Right, so more of that same plastic that we're used to, but this is in a more golden color. See, there's a little bit of a difference in the shade here, which is cool. And there's like a glittery effect in it. Can you see it? It's it's definitely popping through. At least I can see on the screen. Very cool. We've got the rivets going here, which totally fine with them being gold colored. I feel like that would be what they would do, right? Some golden rivets, or at least find a way to make sure that they had a gold color if they weren't made out of that. We have the paint around the lips of the snake, and I do remember seeing this. Yes, and the fangs do come down, but how do I make them? Do I just need to shake it properly, or what have you? Oh, okay, don't break it. Shake it, don't break it. Okay, there we go. Hey, you know what? You pop it loose, and there you go. The fangs pop down. So be careful with that because it seems like it will easily go back in, but it kind of popped down if I put too much downward force on it. And I may be missing something, but it might be ideal to have something a little small to kind of fish in there and pull the fangs down and pull the gun up to where the position that you want it to be. But we do have the gold paint around the lips, and it is very well applied. So it follows the line of some of the scales, and it's well done. You can see the silver of the metallic hinge. Not a big deal, right? Because there's a little bit of a silver painted highlight right there. I don't know if it's to serve as a distraction or just to tie all these together, but it works, right? And then the eyeballs, very well applied. Everything looks very good. I love this gold paint treatment up here. I keep brushing like a piece of cardboard or trash. It's not a flaw. It's just a piece of trash, a piece of paper. And then a little bit of gold paint over here. Very cool. And we've got this ball joint to pop in for good flexibility, for positioning, right? Because this thing, it moved as he flew, and we got a little ventilation right here. Okay, let's look at the big kahuna, because there is a lot going on here. All right, there it is. So from the front, here we've got these vents, right? So this is overall the basic design that we're used to, right? If you have seen the Air Chariot before, this is it, right? But with more detail, because there's more room to have such detail. The stickers are already applied. We don't have to worry about water slide decals or anything like that. Or did I put it in the right spot? Oh, it looks a little crooked. I don't know if you had that same stressor, but I sure did as a kid. And sometimes I just would avoid it at all costs because I was just too worried about screwing it up. And then we have the Cobra emblem with the crown on it for the Emperor. All these riveted panels on here. Caution, gun reactor, right? Makes sense because we're going to have a weapon right there. And it plugs in pretty easily. There was no snap, but it did plug in without any real issue and not really any major force. And it does have flexibility. And I have now blocked the ability to see that side. So we're going to look at this one. We've got a code over there, another code right there. And then if we roll around to the back here, you can see some more controls, some more information, readouts, some dials, a little pad right there, hopefully to maybe protection, or it could be a heat sink, who knows, because there's a lot going on here. We've got foot pads with pegs on both sides, so fantastic for holding him in place. And of course, this has to spin. So the little turbine fan here, which is silver, and well done silver does spin. This black piece, the cover for it, the pieces, 2 pieces, do not extend all the way. Very curious about that, right? Do you see that? It's only 2 of them. Let me back this up a little bit. Right there and right there, right across from each other. And they're not aligned in any specific way, and I can't rotate it, but those are the only 2. The rest are fully complete. They're straight across from each other. Very interesting. I wonder if this was maybe supposed to be rotated and either straight across or that way. Who knows? And then 2 fixed fins on the back. And underneath you can see the turbine. You can see the engines, right? So a little bit of a orange glow, and then additional boosters, right? So we have these, which seem like they're for propulsion. We have these, and it looks like we have these. So this guy is ready to just rocket anywhere and also hover when he needs to while doing it. So very cool. Underneath, do we have landing gear that pulls out? Am I seeing this correctly? But how? But how, he says. Okay, so it looks like we're pulling it out ourselves. So it's another point. I think the moral here is to make sure to have something that can get in there and hold it. So this is good because then it'll sit and rest and not rest on its wings and not kind of tip backwards on itself. So let's put it together, right? So snake has the openings here, stick them in there, right, to make sure that those little tabs will click into place, and then the ball drops into place. There's no movement. I was very excited to see that ball because I thought that might have meant a little bit of movement, but that's okay. I'm not going to be mad. I'm excited that I have a Serpentor, and also the handlebars don't seem like they have any movement, which I was excited about that, but I'm not going to be mad because I have a Serpentor and because I have an almost fully assembled air chariot. I will put the ammo straps on there on these cannons later. Sorry, the gun reactor, whatever you want to call them. All right, so there we go. There is our air chariot. I didn't put the back pieces on. Okay. So there's one, and there's the other. Very easy to assemble, and no room for error because it doesn't rotate. But there is our air chariot. And now, let's take a moment and look at Serpentor himself. Okay, here he is. The man, the emperor himself, Mr. Serpentor. All right, so let's get some focus on this guy. How dramatic. Look at wow. Oh my gosh. This thing is amazing. We got a cloth goods cape. We've got snakes wrapped around him coming up here on the top. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do it the normal way. So let's take a closer look at the face. Look at this thing. That is nobody's face, but tell me it doesn't look like it's copied from somebody's face. It even has kind of the glossiness from the photo reel. His eyes are a red that almost matches the lips, that almost matches down here. Do you see that? They are a red color. We've got the silver on the fangs. Looks pretty well painted. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell from glare. It almost looks like they're incorrectly done right there, but no, they're not. They go all the way up to the very bottom of the lip, and they are painted silver. Eyebrows very well applied. These are properly applied. The gold, yet again, along the lips of the snake, and then you see it coming up on the side for the piece around his head. The neck has gold for the first 2/3 of it, but then the back is this cast gold plastic, so the different shade as opposed to the painted. So we've got painted gold, and then I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, we have that snake skin. The scales almost looks like a knurling back there into the cast plastic like this. The detail on this thing is amazing. You know, if you have a chance to get one, if you have one on the way, cheers to you. If you have a chance to get one, please. I cannot stress enough. This thing is amazing. Okay, let's look at some arm mobility. Let's pull. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and pull this off so that we can see what's going on. So one of the better ways. Turning the arms backwards, okay? So, yep, we got a good butterfly joint in there. Happy to see that. And very clean feeling movement so far. Shoulder, a little tight at first, right? But as typical, when you use it a little bit more, it will get a little bit looser. It does have a little bit of rotation, but it's a little bit tight rotation. The bicep and tricep does have a very good clean rotation that can take over most of that, right? Because that's usually the thing that takes over with a lot of rotation. We have a kind of a dual work there. Speaking of dual, we have a dual elbow, also very tight to start. Come on, buddy. Look, you can't tell Serpentor what to do, but I'm going to try at least a little bit so that you can see it, so that we can see it. Okay. It's kind of making me a little nervous to push. Yep, that's what's going to happen. Okay, so I popped the arm out of its rotating socket because I pulled too hard on the elbow. And this is why we do this, right? So I can cause issues with mine, and you won't have to worry about yours. Okay, let's go through the rest of the arm because that does not want to work with me. So no forearm rotation. The wrist does rotate. We've got a weapon holding trigger finger with the forward and back movement, but not a whole lot because the gauntlet is kind of hindering it. And then we've got this piece on the top that also kind of gets in the way and impacts. And it's also a thing to be careful because it's green paint on green paint. So we don't want anything transferring off. We also have gold paint on the fingertips, and you can see some of the green kind of showing through there. So some of the gold paint is already a little bit flawed on that. So definitely be careful. It's definitely not a bad application. Don't get me wrong. It's not perfect. There's a little bit of gold that's already missing, but that's okay. I'm not mad about it. So that is that arm. And forgive me for leaving it off. I just don't want to spend 20 minutes trying to get an arm back together. I will put that back together off camera, but let's just see real quick if this elbow will cooperate a little bit more, and it won't. So just a heads up. Heads up. What an ironic thing to say. Okay, so just a heads up, these elbows are very tight, so they're going to take a little bit of effort, but they are a double pinless elbow, so they are ready to flex. We do have that same articulation and functionality on the hand, the forward and back. It still has this snake piece on the top, and the paint is a little bit better over here, right? So there's not as much green or issues showing through. There's a little bit where the thumb didn't get all the way down, but I mean, the sculpting of this, the gold underneath here on the tricep, the green paint is very well applied. I really can't be too upset. And we can see we've got some spots for some of the pieces that we've seen to snap in. Obviously, in the mid-torso, we've got flexibility there. Back, not a whole lot, right? A little bit because, you know, obviously he's standing very, very upright, like a non-natural posture. But that does have the waist kind of separating a little bit there. Forward's a lot better, right? So it definitely does crouch down a lot more forward. But I would say to be cautious because this is painted gold on top of this cast gold plastic. So we've got a lot of gold paint around here to be mindful of when doing your posing because you can hear it rub. Speaking of rubbing, the waist does have rotation, but we create a gap as soon as we do some rotation. So we might want to have a pairing of the waist and this mid. But the mid, as you can see, it wants to swing back a lot. Which, hey, you know what? It kind of makes you feel like you're working with a O-ring G.I. Joe action figure. And then we've got the snake belt, which is part of this softer lower piece, the underwear area. It is painted the green and the crimson mouth to match these up here. It's cast out of a rubbery plastic of this color. And then we've got gold paint and green paint on there. But, you know, very well applied, no issues. The split, solid, right? Because we've got the part where it drops down and goes out, and we've got the Super Serpentor split. That's a thing to say 3 times fast. The Super Serpentor split. So there we go. Very good. I always like to see that drop down. I'm not sure how everybody else feels about it. And we've got upper thigh rotation with a lot of the view of that line blocked by these upper thigh pads, which are very well painted. They are sculpted as part of the leg, and you can see they're painted green because some of the green didn't travel around the edges quite perfectly there. But we're looking at it head on, and it is very well painted, and it gives that painted metal look. You know what I mean? It's kind of flat, and it really does look like not painted plastic, but painted metal. And hey, maybe that's my mind tricking my eye, but isn't that the idea? Suspension of disbelief. Okay, I want this knee to work with me. There we go. Okay. So we at least have the double knee bending for me. FYI, these joints are tight, right? They are absolutely tight, and you have seen that. So be very careful with yours when you have one in hand. But the flexibility is decent, especially considering the size of this calf, and then we've got the snake wrapped around. So we've got a little bit of interference, but that is good. I mean, if I had the arm on there, he would be limbering up quite well. I feel terrible not having this arm on here. It bothers me because it just shouldn't be that way. And just like that, little bit of internet magic, we've got the arm back in place. So I feel much better about that. I just don't like talking to you about a figure with part of the arm missing. I feel bad about that because it's a great figure. Okay, as I was saying, we do have calf rotation for that giant calf with the snake wrapped around it. The foot, we can already tell the back is very good. Forward also very good, and even Serpentor, even the Cobra Emperor can break his ankle, right? And we've got the same capability on the other side. All right, so let's look at these paint apps. As we've seen some, I've highlighted some as we went down. What I can say, these snakes, very well done, right? So the green apps on this are pretty solid. There's a little bit on the tail ends right there where the gold kind of took over. I'm guessing, the green just kind of stopped a little bit short. It almost seems like, yeah, there's a little bit of overspray of green here on the edges. Not terrible. It's where you have to really look for an issue. The mouths, there's a little bit of pink or the crimsonish color that came out right there on the edge. But getting that paint up in there, they did a good job getting the red far up in those mouths. And then the matching colors down there. We've got the black eyes for the snakes all around. We saw that the wrists and the hands, the forearms, the green was painted very well. A little bit of issue with some of the gold on the fingertips. These pads, very well painted, just not around the sides. These pieces around the calves, you can see there's a little bit of gold up on the green here. But, I mean, they painted all the way around the figure, right? They painted the green all the way around the back. They painted some gold along the side. They painted his calves gold. I mean, in the shoes. And the gold paint here is, it looks pretty good. I don't really see any issues on that. Nor do I really see it in the triceps. Just maybe some, I don't know if that's paint error or sculpting error. Do you see that? There we go. That right there. So there's a little bit of just random dots on it. The sculpting detail along the back is just fantastic. It's really well done. So happy to see it. And of course, I discovered and I saw, which we were shown, right? So that comes off. That's a little weird. I don't know if you feel uncomfortable seeing that, but it's so that we can get the more, I guess, old school look, right? So that piece goes on the top right there, and you can then have that on the back. And I'm guessing these, whether you want long or short, just plug into that. The only caveat I would throw in there is potential paint rub by removing it and applying one multiple times, as I do right here in front of you. But there we go. So that's kind of the changes that we can do. And last but not least, let's check out this cape. Look at the texture of it, right? You can already tell that this is a lot longer living cape than the one that originally came with Serpentor. I would still be careful with the armholes. Granted, they are reinforced with some stitches, so that does help. No wire in the cape. That would have been really cool, right? Some posed wired Serpentor cape, but the beauty is this seems like a pretty easy one to duplicate for those aftermarket developers out there that create all kinds of cool wired capes for our figures. So awesome. Thrilled about the one that came with it. I look forward to the future things that we could possibly get for it. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's give him his cape back. I'm gonna go ahead and assume texture goes outwards. Just seems to make sense. Unless he's more of a liner guy. He could be all about the liner. But there we go. Everyone, there is Serpentor. I hope that you are as excited as I am to see this beautiful figure. This just legendary character in the line, already out here in the Classified Series line and already being released to the world. But there he is, and as you can see, he stands very easily on his own with minimal... Actually, there was no coaxing, right? I just put him there and he was standing. So there we go. We're going to be right back with some 360s. Okay, there he is. 360 view of the great Cobra Emperor Serpentor. Cannot be more excited to have this thing in the collection. Absolutely thrilled. It's just fantastic execution on this thing. I mean, I remember getting it way back when, the original one, and this is just a perfect recreation, update, homage to this thing in this gigantic 6-inch scale. So I hope you get a chance to get this if you want one. I hope that you have one on the way if you were able to get one. But yeah, so there we go. What a beautiful figure. And remember, stick around through the end of this because we have a very extra special giveaway announcement for you. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for sticking around. I'll see you later. Hey everyone, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we have a special announcement. As luck would have it, and due to a friend no longer needing a Serpentor of their own, the channel has been able to get its hands on a second figure, a collector's dream. Except not in this case. What we thought the best approach would be is to share this gift with you. So we're doing a giveaway. Enter the Arrive Serpentor Arrive giveaway. Of course, no purchase is necessary here. All you have to do is check out the description and click the link for the Google form. Fill out the 3 questions. None of the information provided will be used for anything other than selecting and contacting the winner. Each video during the giveaway period will have a secret keyword shared at some point in the video. That keyword will be one of the answers on the form and is needed for an entry to win. You can enter multiple times, but only 1 entry per video. Needless to say, I am very excited to have this opportunity because it's a hope of this channel to be able to find ways to get these great, possibly even hard to get items in the hands of true collectors. At the end of the giveaway period, we will randomly select 1 winner from the list with valid keyword entries, so stay tuned and check out future episodes over the next month to get more chances to enter to win. You can find additional details in the description. Thank you for checking us out and for joining us on this fantastic collecting journey, and above all, thank you for giving us this amazing opportunity to give back. Well, that about does it. Thank you for checking us out and for joining us on this collecting journey as always. And look for at least 2 new videos each week, if not more. And if you got something from today's episode and haven't already done so, please subscribe and click that like button. It would really help us out, and it truly would mean a lot to me. If you'd like to see some more videos, there are a couple of quick links on your screen right now for you to check out. But no matter what, as always, thank you for taking the time. And remember, we are all in this collecting world together. Let's look out for each other. Thanks.